Let's take a look at Fujifilm's new 18mm f1.4. Let me do you a favor and just start off with the footage.
Like a movie that was black and white. I'm getting dizzy looking in your eyes. And what's the use in keeping track of time? Put your hand in mine.
I'm gonna keep this video short and sweet. I gotta say, I love this lens. My favorite lenses are wide angles with an open aperture, and this lens does it perfectly for me. My favorite lens of all time is a 24mm on a full frame camera, and this lens on the crop sensor feels very much the same. It makes a crop sensor camera feel a lot like a full frame camera with the bokeh, or bokeh, however you say it, and the wide angle makes you forget that you're on a smaller sensor. Just like the one we're filming on right now, this is actually the 16mm f1.4, which we can talk about the differences there because they're very similar lenses. I won't go too deep into the technical specifics about this lens because personally, I don't really care. I just want to know, what does it look like? What do I think? When I try out a lens like this, I'm more interested in getting some good footage than I am talking about the specs and the technicals. So let's talk about the build of the lens. The first thing I noticed is the size. It's not too big. If we compare it to the kit lens, which is the 16 to 80mm, it's slightly smaller, but a little bit heavier. It feels a little bit more dense, where this feels very light. Just like most Fujifilm lenses, it has the aperture ring. I could literally just sit here doing this all day. Click, 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 click. That being said, in video, you're probably going to control that electronically anyways. And then it also has a nice thick focus ring. Now, I was mainly interested in this lens for video, but of course it does do a great job with photos as well. Here you can check out some portraits I took. I also did a quick low light test. I was shooting at 2000 ISO, all the way open at 1.4. One of the questions I had about this lens is, why does it exist when the 16mm already exists? But I quickly realized that when I put on the 16mm, it is noisy, and if you were shooting with a microphone on top of the camera, you would probably hear it in your video, where with the 18mm, it is practically silent. And of course, if you're shooting at f1.4, you're going to need an ND filter, which I would highly recommend just using some step-up rings to use your bigger ND filter with this 62mm thread size. I did a quick vlog test. You can see what this looks like handheld. Personally, I think 18mm for vlogging is very much sufficient. The 16mm would also be fantastic. The only thing is that noise from the lens. So with that said, vlogging, I would still go with the 18mm. Let's talk about the price. This lens is $1,000, the same as the 16mm, also $1,000. Personally, if I was choosing between the two, I would have to go with the 18mm because the 2mm difference isn't really that noticeable, and I shoot mostly video, so that quiet autofocus is definitely the way to go. But overall, I think this is a phenomenal lens. It looked amazing in that footage I took. I'm super happy with it, and the next time I'm ready to buy a lens, it'll be this one. If you are interested in this lens, I'll put a link in the description for you to check out. Anyways, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe, hit that like button. I'll see you next time.